Welcome into the PHNX Suns pregame show, brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you know whenever we are live. I'm Lindsey, here with Saul Bookman, Espo, and Gerald, and we are live at the Ainsworth in downtown Phoenix for our Phoenix Suns watch party. Thank you to everyone who tuned in virtually if you couldn't make it down here, and thank you to everyone who is joining us here in person. Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Good. I'm feeling the vibes.
Dude,
and the vibes are immaculate.
It is packed in here tonight. If you haven't had a chance to come out, didn't come out to the last one, and you didn't come out to this one, we're going to put some stuff on social that's going to make you wish you came here.
Preach,
I promise
Saul,
you that.
preach.
Yes, I'm actually excited because I didn't get to make the last time we did this.
Yeah, so this is Gerald's
my
first live show
First
as well.
time.
Are you
There you go.
nervous?
This is great. No, not really.
You got butterflies?
I can't hear your shit.
No, not really. No, I'm a professional. Why would I be nervous about
This
this
is another
shit?
day. That's all. You know, I do
All
this
right.
all the time.
Just a reminder before we get into the thick of it, if you drop a super chat tonight, whether it's pregame or postgame, every single dollar of that super chat is going to be donated to the Ryan House, an incredible organization here in Phoenix that provides hospice and respite care to children and their families that need to utilize those services. So start sending them in, you guys. Drop all the super chats all night long. Tonight, the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors are facing off. This is going to be a really fun game. We saw it last time. It's been a minute. Christmas Day was the last time these two teams faced off. How you guys feeling?
I mean, shit, I don't even know who's playing for the Warriors now. You know what I mean? Like, they're all hurt all the time, and so it should be a fun game. Listen, the Warriors know that the Suns are the best team in the NBA. Draymond, I think, is playing tonight. Klay's back, so it should be a spirited effort. They'll still get smashed, but it should be a spirited effort.
Look, things are quite different than they were at Christmas for these two teams. The Suns obviously, back then there was the debate which one of these two teams is truly the best in the West. The Phoenix Suns had made it very clear the rest of the way. Now that they're solidified the number one seed, really the only thing tonight that's on the line for them is tying the best record in franchise history. But other than that, not a lot for the Suns. The Warriors still fighting for playoff positioning. I'm glad we're getting as best of a shot as we can get from the Warriors with Draymond and Klay out there. No Steph, obviously, but at least it'll be a little bit more entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, these are two totally different teams than the last time we saw them play on Christmas. Without Curry, I think they've lost 6 of their last 7, so the Warriors are kind of spiraling right now. This should be a blowout, and I think the Suns will continue to stay motivated just by that franchise record and wanting to stay in shape and not decondition like Monty says. So honestly, I feel like the Suns have more to play for in their mind than the Warriors do, which is crazy.
Bill Simmons, and we talked about this a bit yesterday, but Bill Simmons brought it up on his podcast. There's been 17 teams to win 66 games in an NBA season, 12 of which won a title, 13 of which went to the finals, so one additional went to the finals. I think that's what this Suns team's looking at, is let's get in that club. Let's become the 18th team to win 66 and be up there in the upper echelon of greatest teams of all time.
I mean, if you ask them, Torrey Craig said back when they were at 60 wins, said how many games left? 8? We're going for 68. So their goal is to go as many wins as they can to go into the playoffs strong.
I'd like to give them the final 2 games off. That's what I'm doing now.
That's fair.
All right, we're going to take a quick break because we got some thank yous to hand out and flowers. Rach with a $20 super chat said, "Hi guys, hope you have a great night tonight." And Giselle with another $20 super chat.
There you go.
First super chat for a great charity. Love everything that you all do. Perplex Damage coming in as well with another $10 super chat. Keep it coming, you guys. I promise I won't be this annoying all night, but we really appreciate your support.
Lindsey wants to give all the flowers.
Just to
I
you
promise
guys,
you,
that's it.
Tonight is your night to give flowers. She will give them to you if you just donate.
Tonight is one night only. F them kids stands for fund them kids.
Yes.
Let's fund them kids
Fund them
at the
kids.
Ryan House. Get in that super chat as often and early and often tonight.
Also, happy birthday, Brittany. Longtime listener, always in our chat. We appreciate
There you
you.
go, Brittany.
Happy
Happy birthday.
birthday.
Happy 21st. I just assume that's always everybody.
But if she's 18.
Then
We're just gonna go
She can
21st,
go drink
that's it.
now. Congratulations.
All right, so really cool stat came out from the last time the Phoenix Suns got a W on Sunday night. So with their win, the Suns improved their win total by 10 from the previous season, for a third straight year, something that only the Boston Celtics accomplished from 70 to 71 season and then the 72 to 73 season. So the only other team in NBA history to improve their win totals by 10 for 3 straight years in a row. That's so impressive.
It is very impressive. However, I mean, I do have to say, however, like, listen, to go from that 2018 year to the 2019 year, it's not exactly like they were beating the world's best in that first year, then they somehow overcame it. Like 19 wins, I mean, basically, you hoped that at least they get a little bit better the next year. So, but. Yes.
Fair, but with the speed that they were able to do it, I think is what's the most impressive part. Sure, that first season might have been like, well, yeah, you should have probably been doing that all along.
29 is a pretty low bar.
But the second and third were pretty impressive.
For sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it was the third fastest turnaround in NBA history from worst record to best record, I think, and the other two teams were like in the 50s or 60s, so... And that was back when they had like 8 to 14 teams in the league. So,
and also, I will say this: the jump from 2019 to 2020. The thing we got to remember too is 10 less games.
Yeah,
like they went from 82 to 72 games.
That's true.
And now to still be able to do that, it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just making the Monty Williams for Coach of the Year case. When you look at that, that's elite company. When you say only one other team has ever done this, as long as it's positive, what you're talking about. You really should be getting praise for that. Monty deserves all of it out there possible. He has done a fantastic job in helping this team get where they're going. And I mentioned it on the Phoenix Sports podcast today, but I feel like he's probably the most undervalued Sun. Doesn't get enough attention. Chris Paul gets a lot of credit for the way things have changed. Devin does as well, but I think Monty was the catalyst in a lot of ways. He showed Book how to be a professional in that first year. He built that relationship with Chris Paul, a big reason why he came to Phoenix along with Devin. Monty deserves all the praise for that increase.
And just how quickly, too. I mean, Gerald, you said the third fastest from worst to best. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
When you really sit down and think about it, that is just insane. And how much fun, like, how enjoyable for us. Like, hashtag
selfishly.
blessed.
Yes, it's all about us, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it's crazy because for 10 years we were basically watching this team go nowhere, so we know how hard it can be to rebuild and how long it can take, and just the way that James Jones and Monty have come in here totally changed the culture, made it a destination that guys want to play for this man, want to play for this organization. It's pretty incredible, and that's, that stands out to me on a night like tonight when we're going up against the Warriors, is they were the team that had the culture for a long time, and now the Suns are that team. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get back into the Warriors a little bit. An injury report for tonight's game. So on the Warriors side of things, they're going to be without Steph Curry, James Wiseman, and then on the Suns side of things, still without Cam Johnson and JaVale McGee, but some positive news on Cam Johnson. He was listed as doubtful prior to this game, which means that's progress. We're going to see Cam Johnson much sooner than later back in the Suns lineup and on the court.
To be fair, I'm listed as doubtful every night for this show, so that's a positive that Cam made it there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad Cam's going to come back. I'm anxious for it to happen before the end of the season. I think we all are.
Yeah.
I think we were all caught off guard when he went down in the first place. So we need to get that guy back in the lineup. But then after that, it feels like we're all systems go for the playoffs. So
yeah, and that's the good thing is Monty talked about in practice, and Cam both said the goal is to get him back within the next week. So he has a couple of games before the playoff starts. If you remember last year, he had that wrist thing that kept him out until literally the first game of the playoffs. Nobody knew how he was going to look. Cam has said, like, I want to come back before the regular season is over so I can get that rhythm back a little bit.
One guy that might play tonight, correct me if I'm wrong, but if a Lundberg, is with the team, they showed a picture of his uniform, on Suns Twitter, I assume we may get the first Danish NBA player tonight if things go the Suns' way.
I mean, it could. All right, a couple more super chats coming in. Sunder's Dunks and Kyle, thank you so much. And then we got another super chat from someone named Gerald's girlfriend is real.
Oh my God.
I'm not exactly sure what the inside joke is here.
That's her
but
picture too.
Apparently.
That's
what
creepy
I'm
on many
talking about.
levels, unless it's her.
I hope it's her.
I do too. Shout out to Gerald's girlfriend for dropping the super chat,
And for
donating to
being
Ryan
real.
House.
The girth friend in the house.
The girlfriend is in the house.
That's amazing. So are you guys all at all concerned about the Warriors tonight or in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, potentially, if Steph is back at 100%, it makes them obviously a more difficult out. But overall, they haven't had enough time playing together. They've been injured off and on all year. I'm not overly concerned about the Warriors like I was back in Christmas when these two teams played. Now I'm much less concerned.
The same. The
Yeah.
exact same. Listen, I think I was more concerned about the Warriors just because of how well they were playing before Klay came into the fold. Now, Klay came back into the fold, and things, he's trying to find his way. This team's trying to find his way. Draymond misses a significant portion of the time. Now they're all trying to find it, and I don't know if they're going to be able to find it before the rocky road in the playoffs actually hits them in the face. Listen, if they have to play the Grizzlies in the second round, that's going to be a tough out. Or if they have to play somebody like the Clippers or the Pelicans or somebody like that, that's a tough out for that team.
Gerald, I don't know about you, but I think the West is it's a murderer's row for anybody. You look at any of the first-round matchups, all of it looks like it's going to be tough.
Yeah, and it's impossible to predict who you're going to be up against, not just because the Suns as the 1 seed will have to wait for the last play-in game to find out who they're even playing, but there's very little ground between these teams. The Grizzlies are safe at number 2, but the Warriors currently at number 3. They're only 1 game ahead of the Mavs in 4th. They're only 3 games ahead of the Jazz and the Nuggets in 5th and 6th. And, the Jazz have been in a spiral. The Nuggets have been up and down, but, the Warriors have lost 6 of 7, and they're not going to have Curry back until maybe the start of the playoffs. So we could continue to see that spiral if things don't go their way. They could end up with a nightmare matchup without home court advantage. So it's going to be tough for them. They might not make it out of the first round if Curry isn't 100% himself for that first round matchup.
Well, and just the chemistry, like you guys were saying, you already had to do it once with Klay, and then Draymond goes down, Steph goes down. They haven't been able to really find good chemistry with all of them on the court at the same time pretty much all season. So that's going to be a tough thing for them to do in the thick of it.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody just expects them to flip a switch. All of a sudden, they're going to be the 2017 Warriors again and be magical. And I just don't see that happening. I don't see them automatically just becoming that team when all of them are on the court. They're older. They've had injury problems all year. I just don't see it.
It's the same thing that people say about the Nets. If healthy, blank.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, and Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving are 2 guys whose hots are probably as hot as anybody ever in the history of basketball. But that's a big if. Are they going to be healthy? Are they going to be able to play? And again, I with this Suns team, they're such a well-oiled machine that I just don't feel like any team in the West is going to be a stopping point for them.
Yeah, I feel like DA is key, though, because the Warriors, without Weissman and stuff, they're not the biggest of teams. So DA can work down low, get some of that going. Hopefully he's locked in tonight.
Yeah.
So I saw a really cool tweet today from No Mess on Twitter, which I was able to actually verify on StatMuse. In DeAndre Ayton's career games against Draymond Green, he's averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, and a steal. So shout out to No Mess for that stat there that we were able to use and look up. But that's pretty good numbers for DA. I feel like DA is going to have a decent night tonight.
Well, that's why he's my pick of the game. So
Oh.
we'll get to that here in a second. We'll get to that at the end.
Isn't he always your pick of the game now?
Shut up, Espo. Nobody wants to hear you.
All right, we got a couple more super chats from Manuel and from Neil. Thank you guys so much. All the money that you guys are able to give, we appreciate it no matter what the number is. Just a reminder, if you are just now tuning in, we are collecting donations tonight for Ryan House, which is an amazing organization here in Phoenix. that provides respite and hospice care. So make sure you send in all the super chats that you are able to do.
Neil had a request in his super chat. Are you guys all right if we go there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to brace my ears.
The Phoenix Suns are the best team in the NBA!
Yeah, you got some cheers from here too.
We'll save the suck it for after the game.
Amazing.
Oh, man.
No, I was just being dramatic. It really wasn't that loud in my ear. I'm not even going to lie. And Sean brings up a good point on DA too. He's been playing a lot more aggressively as well as of late, which I think is just DeAndre ramping up and getting himself mentally prepared for the playoffs. Like, we've talked about this multiple times. What we saw from him in last year's playoffs, it's going to be so much more enjoyable to see this year's playoffs because of the growth that he's had in between those two.
Offensively, DA has found another level, and you could tell significantly how much more comfortable he is out there in those sets, posting up, even dribbling the ball from time to time. Just his overall foot movement, that is taking him to another level. And if he is somehow able to elevate it again in the playoffs, I don't understand or see any team in the NBA coming close to beating the Suns. Like, it's easy to say that, seeing this team day in and day out. But again, like, I had to sit there in San Antonio for a decade watching the Spurs in their prime do what they do, and I just cannot help but shake this feeling that this team mimics those Spurs teams almost to a T. They're just so well oiled. Their movements are crisp. You have to play a perfect game on both ends of the floor to beat this team. And I just don't think there's any team in the NBA that's been together long enough, first of all, to be able to do that.
Well, it's almost, in the NBA, a lot of times teams beat themselves, right? Mm-hmm. They cause turnover, or they create their turnovers themselves unforced. They do things that cause problems. The Suns aren't one of those teams, nor were those Spurs teams. So that makes it very difficult for an opponent to get in a game because those windows are very small where mistakes happen. So you almost have to play, as you're saying, a perfect game to beat the Phoenix Suns like you did with those Spurs teams.
And being able to do that 4 times in a 7-game series, that's tough.
We talked about it. The Suns have not lost 4 out of 7 games at all this season.
Yeah.
They're not going to beat themselves. And I saw somebody tweeted it the other day, something to the effect of, you don't have to beat the Phoenix Suns once, you have to beat them multiple times within the course of a game, just because of the way that they turn that switch in the fourth quarter. And that's what's scary to me is you look at this team and how the high level that they're operating at right now, but as good as they are, this is not like playoff basketball. It feels like they still have another level to go, which is terrifying for a team that's won 61 out of 75 games.
And that's what the knock has been to a degree on this team is people are afraid of the Suns because they feel like maybe they're maxed out. And I don't agree with that at all. I feel like there's definitely some gaps that they can fill when they get to the playoffs and they can find another level. Listen, during the course of a game, we've seen it. Second, third quarter, they get a little lackadaisical, they get a little behind, and that's your moment to jump on them if you're going to. In the playoffs, they don't really show that so much. They play pretty hard from first to fourth quarter. They don't give you a chance to just kind of rest and relax. You got to go hard for 48 minutes.
And that'll be with the starters playing heightened minutes. That'll be with the first game that they've played with their full rotation since they got Torrey Craig. Monty's talked a lot about that. And I think they've only played something like 34 or 35 games together with their starting 5 that they would prefer. That's absurd.
Their differential in the clutch just shows how lethal they'll be in the playoffs because you lock in even tighter. Those clutch minutes are that much more important, and they're masterful at it.
Yeah.
I just want to know how many minutes is Mikal going to log in the playoffs? Like you said,
50.
heightened minutes. Like what
50.
What does that even look like for that poor guy?
Maybe for the rest of the team, he'll be playing the same.
I wouldn't even say poor guy. I think he genuinely enjoys. He would play every single minute and enjoy every single minute.
Yeah, but I mean, at some point in time, like it's got to be rough on your body, even for the top most
he weighs
in the
like
best
100
shape
pounds,
type
he'll
of
be fine.
person.
Hey, get the mileage in now while he's young. All right, let's just get it. He can handle it. He always has energy. Use it to the full advantage this playoff run and get everything you can out of it.
That's fair. Sunder's Dunks in the chat said 46 minutes a game. That's what Mikal's going to have each night. Well, as long as he can handle it, I guess I can't be mad at it. All right, we are on the brink of an historic night for the Phoenix Suns, one that hopefully we will be able to beat at some point in time. With a win tonight, the Suns would tie the franchise record for wins in a season at 62. They did that in both the 92-93 season and the 04-05 season.
And this will be obviously the fastest they accomplished 62 wins in a season as well. I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, we've talked about them being the best Suns team we've seen in history. Well, now they have a chance to tie it and likely beat it before the end of the season. I do not see them only winning one more game the rest of the way. This puts them at the upper echelon of Suns franchise teams in franchise history, and they deserve it. They've done everything about as well as we've ever seen. This is the best defensive Suns team we have ever seen. I feel safe saying that. I'm happy for these guys. They deserve that, but we all know that they have much bigger goals than just being the best Suns team.
Yes.
The great thing about this is if they should win tonight, I'm very confident that they'll take care of business the next game, because Memphis is a potential playoff opponent, and everybody's darling around the NBA is that sleeper pick or that hot team with or without Ja Morant. Memphis somehow has conned the NBA into getting more hype than the best team in the league, which is so beyond crazy. But the Suns have heard it, they've seen it, and they're going to shut that shit right up on Friday. I promise you that.
They're last year's Suns teams with the respect that we felt last year's Suns team deserved, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they are in my book. And I completely agree. I think this is a team that wants to be the best in franchise history, but, you know, they're also taking it from the approach of celebrate everything. Like Monty talks about that all the time. So they want to get this, they want to celebrate this, but their eyes are still on the main goal. They have little missions, but the main goal is obviously still what they're going for.
Yeah, I believe Memphis is like 107 and -4 without Ja Morant. So Friday might not be that easy of a game. You think about, they're missing their superstar. No, I know you don't. No, I don't. I know you don't think that. You think, they're missing their superstar, the guy everybody talks about should be an MVP candidate, and they win at a higher clip when he's not there. But I hope they win tonight, so they have that extra motivation on Friday to jack stomp them in Memphis.
Jack stomping.
I mean, back to the historical moments of tonight's game. The reason why I feel like it's a little extra special for this team is because this team, I feel like, is doing something, at least that I've witnessed in real life, right? Like, old enough to really be able to, like, hold on to it and be that involved in it. It's just a little more special because I think this is a launching pad for the Suns' future overall. And because these guys are so young, it's going to be around for a long time, I think. And I think this team deserves to have that top spot as far as just like franchise records goes.
Yeah, thank you for officially making Saul and I feel old by admitting you don't remember the 92 or 04, 05 Suns very well.
Now that Lindsey and I are old enough to remember.
Yeah, 04-05 isn't that bad.
I wasn't as involved in it. Like, I didn't grow up in that. And my family was not. They were not Suns fans. Like, they were all different transplants. So I had a family.
Did you even have cable back then?
Did they have that in Sierra Vista?
They did not have cable in Sierra Vista. No, yes, of course they had cable. No, but my household was a football family, and it was the Cowboys. So, like, I didn't grow up as a Suns fan.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I was 15 years old, so back then my girlfriends still were imaginary, so I wasn't paying attention to NBA.
Speaking of your girlfriends, Gerald, we got a couple more.
You're busy with your imaginary? Sorry.
Ben hit us with a super chat, said, great live show, guys. Loved seeing Girth's girl. Girth is pretty, and she is prettier.
She is prettier.
And then Boosty, thank you for the live chat as well. They said, Warriors have been clamoring for Klay to come back, waiting till we get the best three-point shooter in the league back. With a nod to Cam Johnson, of course, who should have been in the three-point contest at All-Star Weekend.
Don't even get me started.
Just throw a little bit of shade out there, just a smidge. Any other thoughts on just the just this team in general. I mean, it's just been so enjoyable.
I want to see the Suns win tonight, and that sounds really obvious, but they haven't beat the Warriors in Chase Center yet. It's a new venue. It's a different atmosphere. You kind of got to get used to it, and should you have to play them in the playoffs, it's always nice to know that you've gotten the job done at least once in that venue. So for those reasons, and they're very shallow reasons, I want to see the Suns pull off a victory.
Yeah, and I didn't do any research on this, but I'm just going to guess if they lose, that would be the only team that they've lost a series to this season.
I believe so.
3-1.
3-1, they'd lose. So in that factor too, I mean, I don't want to see them lose a series to anybody. So.
A little extra bragging rights on the line.
One last thing. We talk a lot about the historical accomplishments. This team, when they won their 60th game and locked up the 1 seed, they became the first team in 30 years to do so with 8 games remaining. The last team to do that was the 91-92 Chicago Bulls, which were a pretty good team if you remember that team.
They're all right.
Neither of them remember it. Yes, we remember that team.
I watched it, yes.
Yeah, they were pretty good, Gerald.
Just not in real life. Just not in real life. That's all. It's not my fault. Okay, let's find out what our friends over at the DraftKings Sportsbook app think about tonight's game. Espo, break this down for us.
Well, the Suns are actually a 5-point favorite on the road in Golden State, so it looks like our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook feel pretty confident like we do about tonight's game.
That's fair. I feel like they should. Absolutely. I think we would all be a little upset if these were flopped.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'd think, hey, you could make a lot of money if they were flopped.
True. So. That is very true. All right, so we're all playing on the DraftKings Sportsbook app tonight, and we have made our selections for what we're going to put some money on, and here is what we chose. So I think Devin's going to have a big night because I just think Devin's on a mission to just let the world know who he is and to put some respect on his name. So at a plus 3,000, I've got Devin to have 40 or more points, 4 or more assists, and 6 or more rebounds.
I hope you actually put some cash down on this, because if he does this and you didn't, you're going to feel pretty crappy that you told everybody else to and you didn't make some. For me, I think the Suns are going to come out firing on all cylinders to make a point. I have them to get to 30 points first in the first quarter at plus 205. I think it's an easy way to make a little bit of money.
I got DA, as I said earlier. I got DA 25 and 14, baby. Bring it home, DA. I need some money.
That's actually...
You owe me this year. I put so much money on you. Come on.
Plus 1,300 is actually pretty good for that line.
I think
that
so
is pretty good. Well, I mean, like I said, the averages against Draymond for DA are 19 points and 10 rebounds. So you're kind of close in there. As long as DA has a little bit extra oomph tonight,
well, that was
he
before
could
DA got
that
little flip shot, too.
Exactly.
And that's easy to get over Draymond because he has such a height advantage.
Exactly. And then Gerald, Espo, tell us what Gerald...
Yeah, Gerald, I just think this is uncool of you.
It's uncool of me.
To pick me at plus 2 bad dad jokes. It's definitely going to be it's going to be at least 15 tonight.
I've already put a lot of money on this, so I feel very confident I'm going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, at a minus 10,000, the
odds aren't
it's just great money there.
Not great odds.
But, it is great money if you use that code PHNX when you sign up for the DraftKings.
That is true, because right now they've got some really good deals. If you put just a $5 bet on any college hoops team to win their game, and they do, you're going to get $200 in free bets instantly. It's literally that easy.
There's only 2 more games left.
Yeah, if you haven't downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now is a great time to do that. And again, code PHNX will get you some free cash in the app to make a little bit more gambles, especially now that playoffs are right around the corner. This is the time, these games are the most fun to put some money on the line on, because you've got so much on the line in these games.
And if you're feeling really risky, there is spring training baseball to bet on as well.
Oh, God.
That's like throwing a dart at a dartboard.
That's when you got to call the
1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Find a new hobby.
That'll make your beer taste bad.
Oh, my gosh. All right, gentlemen, we are just a few minutes away from tip-off. Any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
Yeah, if you're not out here at the Ainsworth and you're close enough, get out here. It is great. Great atmosphere, great food. We're going to have the game on. And then you're going to see us post-game. So, and we got giveaways that we're going to give out throughout the night.
We got some autographed memorabilia to give out.
There's and not just from us, from the Suns, too.
How exciting.
Yeah.
Gerald, any final thoughts?
Thank you to everyone who's donated. We really do appreciate it. Keep those donations rolling in. It's for a good cause, and we love you guys. We appreciate the support as always, but especially tonight with the donations coming in.
Here at the bar, we don't approve of double dipping, but if you want to double dip and come back in the post game and donate some more, we're more than happy to have it.
It's
That's
nice.
right. We will be back here, as always, right after the game wraps up. Of course, you can
We
follow
have a
along.
$5 super chat too, Neil Rubenstein. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Neil.
Neil, thank you so much. Just getting in a bit more for the charity. We appreciate you, Neil. You can follow along on Twitter throughout the game at PHNX_Suns. Or if you are a Go PHNX member, you can hang out with us in the Discord. Until the end of the game, bye.